The Dallas Mavericks made one of the biggest splashes of the offseason when they decided to trade for Klay Thompson. It was clear they needed more shooting after losing in the finals, so why not bring in one of the greatest to ever do it? However, the more I've thought about it, I truly think Quentin Grimes could end up being this team's most impactful acquisition. You see how important it is to have true two-way role players every year in the playoffs. And while Klay was once an elite defender, he doesn't have the quickness to stay in front of guys like he used to. I have long felt that Quentin Grimes is one of the more underrated young role players in the league, and I wanted to take a deep dive today into why he has the chance to be the perfect role player for Dallas and potentially be the missing piece for their championship aspirations. Let's start with what Grimes brings to the table offensively, specifically as a three-point shooter. He's been a very accurate catch-and-shoot guy throughout his career, shooting nearly 40%. More importantly, he takes a high volume, ranking in the 90th percentile in three-point attempts over the last 3 years. The lack of above-the-break shooters was a huge problem for Dallas in the finals, so it's important that Grimes takes most of his threes from this area, and he's proven he can hit them at a solid clip. Looking past the shooting numbers, though, there are a few things about Grimes that can make him an awesome connector on offense. The quickness of his release is something that jumps out on film. He consistently lets it fly with no hesitation. And it's not like Grimes is only capable of hitting stationary threes either. He's great at relocating to put himself in a ball handler's line of sight, and he sets his feet quickly in order to hit movement threes. He even flashed the ability to shoot coming off handoffs. In his one full season as a starter for the Knicks, he was generating 1.28 points per possession on handoffs. And no, Grimes is not Klay Thompson as a shooter. But compared to the other good wing defenders on Dallas, he's easily the best floor spacer. I mentioned that Grimes does a good job of relocating as a spot-up shooter, but his impact as an off-ball mover isn't just limited to this. He's a smart cutter with a good understanding of how to find open space, sneaking past defenders who turn their head. Grimes is also a great athlete, and this helps him finish on these cuts. Grimes has a lethal ability to attack closeouts, and this could be the biggest reason why he'll be so important for Dallas. It's nice to have role players who are good shooters, so that the advantages created by stars can be capitalized on. The role players who are also really good closeout attackers can extend these advantages, and it's hard to overstate the value of this. They can keep the defense in rotation in order to find the best possible shot for their team. And Grimes can keep advantages alive, whether it be through attacking the rim himself or beating a closeout and making the right decision to find a teammate. Like I said, he's a great athlete. When you pair a respected jump shot with his explosive first step, defenses are forced to pick their poison. Grimes consistently blows by defenders who are worried about his jump shot, and he's so effective because of his finishing at the rim. As a whole, I'd say he processes the game at a pretty high level, and this is also evident with his passing. Grimes consistently finds his teammates when he's attacking the basket, and he's quick to dump it off when an opposing big steps up to take away his drive. Dallas has two of the better interior finishers in the league in Gafford and Lively, so it's easy to picture them feasting off easy opportunities like these. Let's take a look at this play against the Cavs. Grimes fakes a handoff to get into the paint and find Hartenstein for a floater. But when you take a closer look, you can really see that this is a guy reading the game at a super high level. Look at where Hartenstein is when Grimes decides to throw this pass. It looks like there's nothing there, but you can see that Hartenstein is starting to make a cut and that Kevin Love has his back turned to him, and he leads him into the open space perfectly for the easy bucket. Connective passing is another element that he brings to the table. Grimes shows how unselfish he is, and he's always willing to pass up a good shot for himself for a great shot for a teammate. I talked about how he can keep advantages alive by attacking a closeout, and this is also true with his quick decision making. Basketball Index ranked him in the 94th percentile of quick decision making passing percentage. This is another play that really embodies how well Grimes reads the game, along with the fact that he's just a really great teammate. He communicates to Deuce McBride to fill into the corner in transition, and before he's even caught the ball, His decision to pass it to the corner is already made, leading to a wide open three. Defensively, he's very solid on the ball. Grimes isn't the most elite lateral athlete, but he does move his feet pretty well to stay in front of quicker guards. Basketball Index ranked him in the 98th percentile of perimeter isolation defense. Something that stands out is the caliber of player he's typically guarding. These clips are from Grimes' second NBA season, where he started almost all the games he played in for the Knicks. And the fact that in only his second season, he was clearly the guy Coach Tibbs trusted the most to guard the opposing team's best player is extremely impressive. If you know anything about Tibbs, this speaks volumes about him as a defender. Grimes could definitely use some work navigating screens, but he has shown flashes. He also has pretty decent size at 6'5" with a 6'8" wingspan, and pairing this with his explosive leaping ability, he can contest shots very well, even when some separation has been created. He's also fairly sturdy when guarding bigger guys in the post too, holding his ground and having enough size to contest at the rim. Off the ball is where I really love Grimes as a defender. With the way NBA teams space the floor, it's so important to be able to cover a lot of ground. I've talked about how he's a great athlete, and when you combine this with the constant effort he plays with, Grimes is a joy to watch as an off-ball defender, and I wanted to show a few plays that highlight this. Here he's in the gap with his man one pass away, and he stunts at the driver to force a pass out. He then recovers back to cut off another drive and force a tough shot. On this play against Boston, Mitchell Robinson is in a drop, causing quickly to rotate to take away the Horford three. This leaves Grimes having to play two on the weak side. He starts to close out, but doesn't fully commit to Smart, knowing that a better shooter is in the corner. He's then able to close out to Tatum and contest the shot on his drive. These plays may not seem like much, but they require effort, which is something that Grimes always seems to be given. On this play, he rotates down to take away a layup before sprinting out to contest a three. His effort also stands out with how he gets back on defense in transition. Here he starts out below the free throw line, and he's still one of the first guys back, and he saves the easy putback. And whether or not the turnover is his fault or a teammate's, Grimes won't give up on the play. That way, he can force a turnover himself. So, let's review. The Mavericks need guys who can play alongside Luka and Kyrie, providing them space to operate. This is why they went out and got Klay Thompson. I do think this was a good move, but at the same time, it's ideal to have two-way guys to surround your stars, which Klay is not anymore. To me, one of, if not the most important thing to winning in the playoffs is to have the least amount of weaknesses your opponent can exploit. And while not to the same degree, Quentin Grimes does give you a lot of the shooting and off-ball movement that you get from Klay, but he also gives you more in pretty much every other area. His ability to attack off the catch gives Dallas another layer to their offense. And most importantly, Grimes is not someone who's going to get hunted on defense, and he actually adds value on that end. This isn't even a prediction that Quentin Grimes is going to start for Dallas. I just won't be surprised if he plays a major role in them going on another deep playoff run.